Everybody, Taylor with KC here, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the KC Flex Era 3 Dual Mode SAE fog lights. We wanted to give you all of the information and all the education, the complete lowdown on these lights, so that way you can make the decision if they're the proper lights for you. This is a really cool set of lights. We did a lot of special stuff with the kitting for these, so we're very excited about it. So this video is gonna be jam-packed with a ton of good information. The overview for this video, we're gonna kick off with the features and the benefits of the lights and everything that's included. Then we're gonna jump right into the specifications of them. Then after that, we're gonna cover all of the different vehicle specific kits that we have available for these lights at the time of filming this video right now. Then we're gonna cover what comes inside of the box of a set of these lights or with some of the kits. Then we're gonna show off what everybody really wants to see, which is the real world beam pattern footage. So we're gonna take these lights, we're gonna go out on-road and off-road, show what these fog lights look like, and then we're also gonna compare that to some indoor footage as well. Then we're gonna wrap up the video by talking about and showing you how to swap out the lenses and the bezels for the Flex Era 3 Dual Mode SAE lights. That's pretty much it, so let's dive right on in. So when it comes to the Flex Era 3 Dual Mode SAE lights, there are two really important things to know about them. The first is that this is the first ever dual mode fog light and off-road light all in one nice compact package. But we're gonna talk about that just in a second, what that dual mode actually means. The second really important part to know about these lights is that anytime you buy a pair pack of them, it is going to come standard as what we're calling a master kit. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the heck is a master kit? What that is it means that it's going to include both the clear lens and the SAE selective yellow lens. We hear all the time here at KC, hey, I don't really know what's right for me between the white light or the amber or the yellow lights. So we wanted to take this opportunity to include both of them in the kit so that way you, the end consumer, can make that decision for yourself. You can actually see the differences of the two and you can determine which is gonna work best for you in your conditions. Going back to the very first feature of this light, the dual mode feature, what does that mean? So this means it has two different power modes. The first power mode is a true street legal SAE J583 fog beam. Now we strictly adhere to the guidelines for that fog beam, which means it has a nice wide beam pattern with a horizontal cutoff with very minimal light spilling over that. We wanted to make sure that this is able to be used all day on the road and you're not going to be blinding any oncoming traffic. So that is the first of the two modes. Then you flip the switch the other direction and you can turn on the high power mode. Now that is an off-road use only beam where we also have a spot beam baked right into these lights. So when you hit that switch the other direction, the true street legal fog beam and the off-road use spot beam are all going to power on at the same time, give you much improved distance and coverage for a little bit more visibility when you're off-roading. So those are the two major features and the major benefits of the dual mode SAE fog lights. And of course, as you can tell, it's a Flex Era 3. So what we decided to do is we ripped out the guts, ripped out the internals of the off-road version of the Flex Era 3 lights. We completely replaced it, but we kept the housing the same. We kept a lot of the mechanics, the mounting, all of the same as well. So what that means is you can also swap out the bezel color to whatever is going to fit your ride exactly how you want it to look. So with that, those are the main features and the benefits of these lights. I think it is time that we dive right into the specifications of them. When it comes to the specs for the Flex Era 3 Dual Mode SAE lights, we of course have to split it up into two different categories because of the two different power modes that these lights have. So on one hand, we're going to be talking about the street legal true SAE J583 fog beam, aka the low beam. Then on the other side of things, we're going to be talking about the high beam, which is the combination of the fog beam plus an off-road use spot mode as well. So diving right in, The wattage for the fog beam is 35 watts. Then you have 55 watts for the off-road mode, which then results in an amp draw of 2.9 amps for fog beam and 4.6 amps for the off-road mode. Then of course, the number that everybody wants to know about, which is the lumen rating. Fog beam lumen rating is going to be 3,682 lumens. Then when you flip that switch the other direction, you have 5,949 lumens for real nice visibility when you're out off-roading at night. Then switching over to the lux, which is a real world measurement taken 10 meters away, you're gonna have 94 lux for the fog beam, jumping up to just under 200 lux for the off-road mode, which is gonna give you a lot more distance. Then, of course, while we're talking about beam distance, you have a beam distance rating of 84 meters, because again, remember, the fog beam is meant to go very wide, it's not meant to go very far. Then you jump over to the off-road mode with the spot beam, it jumps up to 124 meters of beam distance. So that was a mouthful, that was a ton of different specs here, but that's everything that you need to know about the specifications for these dual mode SAE lights. Before we dive right into looking at what comes inside of a box of the SAE lights, it's important to note that we have a bunch of different bolt-on vehicle-specific applications for these lights. Those are going to include the brackets and all the wiring that you need. We have a ton of different kits at the time of this filming, which include anything for Jeeps, right? So Jeep JKs, Jeep JLs, Jeep JTs, from the plastic bumpers to the premium plastic bumpers, all the way up to the steel bumpers that come on the Rubicons. We also have a universal kit for the Jeeps themselves, which is meant for an aftermarket bumper like your Rebel off-road bumper, your Quadratec bumpers, things like that. We also have kits for Toyotas, so we have Tacomas covered, we have 4Runners covered, we have Tundras covered. Same thing with that universal kit. We have both the brackets for an OEM bumper or an aftermarket like a DeMello bumper or CBI or something like that. Then of course, we also have some stuff for Subaru. So if you have a Crosstrek or a Forester, we also have you covered on that. We have stuff in the works for a Ford Bronco as well, so stay tuned for that. So with that, I think it's now time to jump right into what comes inside of a box of the Flex ERA 3 Dual Mode SAE lights. All right, let's dive into what is included inside of a box of these lights. Once again, we're calling them master kits. So that is whether you buy a pair pack of the lights or a single version of the light itself, it is going to come with, once again, the clear lens, which is going to be pre-installed, and amber lenses right out of the box as well. So they're going to come a little bit more something like this with the amber lens itself. Then it will also include the gaskets as well, so that way when you go to change your lens from clear to amber or back and forth between the two, you have an extra set of gaskets, so that way you can make sure you keep all that dust and moisture and all that stuff out of the lights. Then also inside the box is a full complete wiring harness, which is going to come with the switch, with the relay, stickers, zip ties, all that good stuff right in here. That's everything inside of a universal box, which is SKU 284. Then when you jump over to the vehicle specific kits, it is going to come a little bit differently. They're going to come without the universal bracket on the back, but they are going to include the vehicle specific bracket that you need to make it work in your fog pocket application or onto your aftermarket bumper. Not only does it come with the brackets, but it is also going to include a special wiring adapter and a special wiring harness to make it plug and play with your vehicle. So on the Toyotas, Subarus, it's gonna be an H11, Jeeps, it's gonna be an H16 connector, but we already took all that hard work out for you. So it's gonna come with pretty much everything that you're gonna want, everything that you're gonna need to get up and running for this nice all-in-one compact package for your fog beam and your off-road beam all in one. So that's everything that you need to know about what's inside of the box for a Flex ERA 3 Dual Mode SAE light. So we are out here in the dark right now, getting ready to set up our beam pattern comparison jig, I guess you could say. So really, because the Flex ERA 3 SAEs don't have different beam patterns, we want to show off a couple different things. We want to show off the two modes that the light has, right? So the fog beam, which is the low beam, and the high beam, which is the fog plus the spot beam. But we also want to show the comparison between the clear lens, which gives the white light, the output for white, and the SAE selective yellow lens at the same time. So the goal out here is to show you all of the different combinations that are included in the master kit of the Flex ERA 3 light. So I'm gonna get finished setting up, and then we're gonna splice some footage over this. That's the difference between the white and the yellow for the Flex ERA 3 SAE, as well as the fog beam versus the high beam. So with that, let's go on inside for the rest of the video. So now that we have shown off the beam pattern footage for these, it's probably important to show you how to swap out the lenses themselves. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it is going to come pre-assembled with the clear lens on it. So for the sake of this example, we don't need this light. We can get that one out of here. We also don't need the clear lens. We're just gonna swap out the clear for the yellow. The tools that you're gonna need for this, you're going to need a 2.5 metric hex head Allen wrench, and all you have to do is pull out these 3 bolts that hold the faceplate, the bezel, and the lens to the rest of the housing itself. So what I like to do is start by cracking those just by hand. These all have blue Loctite from the factory, so you're gonna notice that it's gonna take a little bit of muscle just to get them cracked loose right from the beginning, but it doesn't take that much, so you don't wanna do too much and strip out these little bolts. So the other important part to note here is that you're gonna wanna do this in a clean environment. You don't wanna be doing this out in the dust somewhere where it gets kind of crazy and you can get a lot of dirt and grime and whatever else into this light because you are taking the lens off. So, sorry, once you get those 3 bolts all the way loosened, you can take the faceplate itself off, then you can take the bezel off, and then you can just kind of peel that lens itself off. Sometimes the gasket that goes into the machined little section in here will come out with it as well, be stuck to this. If it's an old light, if it's used, if you've had it out in the dirt already, you're gonna wanna put a new fresh gasket in there, but because this is a brand new light, hasn't even seen the dirt yet, we're just gonna go ahead and reuse the one that the light came with. So just wanna make sure that all the way around that gasket is nice and seated properly. Then you're gonna grab your new lens. Do not get your fingerprints on the inside of this lens because you're gonna have to take everything apart to get that fingerprint out. Go ahead, just line it right up, right into the groove. Get those holes oriented properly. Put your bezel right back on. Then grab your faceplate with all the bolts. I just keep mine kind of pre-assembled so I don't have to do too much. Plop it right in. And I like to hold my thumb right in the center. And just go around and kind of just do a little bit of a tighten on each bolt, each fastener until it gets just snug. You want to apply even pressure to everything, so you don't want to go super crazy tightening one all the way before you have the others even started. Then, once you do, just go around and do the final tighten on each one of them. We will put the torque spec on the screen here because I cannot remember it off the top of my head. After you've gone around, tightened everything, made sure that there's no weird funky gaps, make sure that your gasket's all in the right place. It's all you had to do. It's that simple to swap from the clear lens to the selective yellow lens. Nice and easy. I mean, if you're doing it in the garage, it's gonna take maybe a minute or 2. And that's how you swap out the lenses for the Dual Mode SAE lights. Now, this is different from the off-road version of the Flex ERA 3s that a lot of you are familiar with. because we chose to do an amber shield for those lights, right? So that's an amber snap-on cover, you could call it, whereas this is an actual lens itself. We chose to do the lens itself versus the snap-on cover because these are going to be installed in a lot tighter positions in fog pockets where it's flush up against bumpers, whether it's OEM plastic bumpers or aftermarket steel bumpers. So just from a pure fitment perspective, we wanted to do the lens rather than the snap-on cover. And that is everything that you need to know about the KC Flex ERA 3 Dual Mode SAE fog lights. So we really hope that you found this video useful. If you have any more questions about these lights themselves, please let us know in the comment section below. Ask us the questions. Jacob or myself will get back to you. If you have any immediate pertinent questions, give our customer service team a call. They love talking to the customers and they love answering any questions that you may have. If you found this video useful, please give us a big thumbs up. If you want to snag a set of these lights for yourself with the full master kit or the vehicle specific applications, click on the link in the description below. You can go right to our website and snag them right from there. So once again, thank you all for tuning into this video. We really hope that you found it useful. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you all for tuning in, and remember to adventure further.